I will take mine sturdy.
That's fine.
That's to you. That's Hatter, Mad Hatter. Good evening and welcome to Loquacious Libations.
Obviously, we're making reference to Bond, who always had vodka martini shaken, not stirred. When the person I consider Bond, although Daniel Craig is a very good.
Hello, we don't want that in there. Hold on. Bear with y'all. We're doing something a little different
This week.
Bear with y'all. We're doing.
Well,
There.
look at that reverb, reverb.
Yep. So we should be good now. We can't hear the feed in the background here. It's only muted there, so we've got the other thing that we set up.
Good.
All right.
Okay.
So we're good. Technical difficulties taken care of.
Which is normal for us.
Yeah, with the typical Laurel and Hardy shit, right?
Yeah, that's right. You know, I think they'd be disappointed if we wouldn't fuck something up.
Well, here, last week, we did great on the opening. Mike's camera, everything were set up perfectly, and then the production side went to shit. It took me till, Sunday to finally post the damn thing last week?
I don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm finding a couple of workarounds for that. Should
because
be
I was at the beach
Yep.
when I got your text. So
there you go.
Well,
All
welcome to Martini Wednesday.
And the last of our Gin Gem series.
We've made the progression, and what I was been most interested to hear last week, Michael said he's really been excited to get to this week to try this drink because he's never had one.
Never had a martini. Except for like a specialty martini. I think I had an espresso martini out.
Okay, espresso martini, like one of the ones I mentioned, the tea martini, the
I think the one
Earl Grey martini, the
right,
Earl Grey martini.
Right, Earl Grey. That's right, the Star Trek.
Yes. Which
two bald guys drinking, and yeah.
We'll have that Earl Grey martini is, it's got a great story behind it. It's a really good cocktail. It's really kind of more of a sour drink, but it's a fantastic drink.
All right.
So, and it's got an interesting story, and it's got a great way you have to make it, because you infuse the tea into the gin.
Gotcha.
Directly.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, you steep it in the gin without obviously heating the gin.
Scoot that over so we can see that.
So.
By the way, Carol is watching us. Carol, thank you for joining us. This is Randall's friend from New York.
Oh, you mentioned that she was going to be here. That's fantastic. Thanks for joining us tonight, Carol. Let us know in the chat what you're drinking.
Yep.
If you are drinking, joining us for a cocktail.
Probably not. She just wanted to check us out and see how we did everything.
You're gonna watch two bald retards.
There you go.
Cut up and talk about the craziness.
One thing right quick, I'm going to move our ice thing for a second so she can see Artie Dog sitting back there. That is a tribute to my dad. So, for those of you who know me, he sits back there and watches over us.
That's true. That's true. Well, I'll tell you what. Without further ado, let's get to mixing this drink.
Yes, before our
everything's we put everything in the freezer, because if there's one thing that is very true, and we said it last week. When you have these type of drinks, especially with the gin martini, you want everything to be ice cold. So this has been in the freezer for a week. The glasses are frozen. The stuff that can't be frozen has been kept cold. So we're just going to get to mixing. Now, the martini that I'm making, there are hundreds of martinis. There's no real true origin of the martini. The martini I'm making is, the origin of this martini is said to have been the Knickerbocker Hotel in New York City. And it was originally made for John D. Rockefeller. Whether that's true or not, I have no idea. Right. But this is the martini that I made for my grandparents, with one exception. My grandparents like to have an olive in their martini, which is, I personally don't like the olive in the martini because it makes it an oily drink.
Right. I can see where that would happen.
And now if you have a dirty martini, which is made with olive brine, that's a little different then.
Right.
So, all right. So this is just a classic martini. Now some people will tell, and I've heard this, I'm not a huge martini fan. I'm just not. Okay. I'm not. I'm a huge James Bond fan, but I'm not a martini fan. Now,
I've got something a little bond related I'll mention in a little bit.
Okay.
Don't let me forget that.
this is, a lot of people will say that this is a very wet martini because I use the classic 2-to-1 ratio. And this is not the only time we're going to use this fall. We'll see this
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
But that is dry vermouth.
Dry vermouth. Okay.
So we'll start out with
Yeah,
orange
we'll do
bitters.
this as well. That's what we're using tonight for the vermouth.
And we do 2 dashes of orange bitters. 1, 2. A couple drips extra in there.
For good measure, right?
And the way I made this for my grandparents when I was growing up, they stirred their drinks, not shaken.
Yeah, I had this whole comedy skit laid out, to do and all that, but we kind of did it at the beginning there a little bit. But let's see, if my studio was up and running, I could have faked up some music to give us a Bondish theme. So in the meantime, while he's making this and getting ready to stir it, I'll go ahead and
you can just smell the gin.
Oh, can you? I'll go ahead and go over our social media. For those of you who haven't, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube at Loquacious Libations over there. Also, on
Like,
our,
share, and subscribe,
Yes,
please.
our branded Facebook page is also at Loquacious Libations, and our Instagram is Loquacious_Libations. That's as far as we've gotten so far, but we're working on getting a Discord out there so you guys can have a forum to go to and talk about our shows.
I think we will get to
with each other.
We'll get to all that eventually. I mean, unfortunately, neither one of us has a tremendous amount of time
Right.
to devote to this, and it's something that we just kind of do for fun.
Right.
Really. Now, last week I said I was pouring a stiff drink, a man's drink. This is stiffer.
This is a good stiff drink.
This is a very stiff drink. Espresso oil. Oh, you see that oil hit the surface there?
Well, you always hear about a stiff drink that'll put hair on your chest. Will it do anything for us up here at all?
I don't need any more hair on my chest. I can tell you that. That's it. I mean, that's just as simple. It's as simple to make drink as there is.
Very nice.
Heavy citrus flavors in this drink. God dang it! Those little. It's the thing that you're supposed to clip off.
Right. It didn't pull all the way down. Right. Yep. There it is. Did you see?
Now watch, it'll shake off.
Right. My poor Gators last week. I know that was a horrible week with the.
Well,
the game there, but
I just don't know that that this is the right head coach for this program.
Well, that's kind of where I was going with that. Did you see the clip of him during the press conference?
Yes. I mean, making reference to people in their basements in Florida. Well, I didn't even know people had basements.
Right.
In
Number
Florida.
one, we don't have basements. Number two, can you open that water bottle, buddy?
Yeah. Now, remember I said
sorry, Billy, but
we're gonna finish this
yes,
bottle.
You did.
6 weeks. We're 6 weeks in.
5 drinks with this.
There's enough for one more drink in there.
But yeah, we did 5 weeks with the Plymouth because we had the 1 week where we had the Alamorada hibiscus gin.
Correct.
With the Mermaid Magic. Well, speaking of my dad, Carol, we were excuse me, I haven't even had a sip yet. We always start like this.
Yeah, we're par for the course there.
But I got a message from both my sister and my Aunt Kathy that we're going to be putting together a Duncan Adams reunion in South Georgia in a few weeks here. With my dad's family.
Oh, well, that'll be nice.
Yes, it will. Shooting for the second week in October, I think she said. Alice, sorry, I keep bumping into you back there. Very nice. Pretty drink.
Crystal clear.
There we go. Get it over here to you.
Not a lot to it, but I'll tell you. I mean, if it was 4 o'clock in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, or Holiday, Florida, for that matter,
Right.
because they moved.
Right.
Arnold and Jerry were having this drink right here, except with an olive in it. Cheers, sir.
Cheers, sir. And cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Carol.
Here's to 007.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can really taste the gin in that too.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Wow.
the vermouth does not pair it back. It pairs well with gin. You get a little bit of the orange. You get a little bit of the lemon oil.
Yeah, it took a minute on the orange. I just got that.
Yep, it comes at the back.
But yeah, a lot of the gin and the vermouth is all the way at the back too. I felt that spread out.
And this is a sipper. This
Yeah.
is just a pure sipper.
Oh yeah.
No, there's...
Like Manhattan, old fashioned. Some of the other stuff we've done have been pure sippers like that.
Well, speaking of the Manhattan,
yeah.
there is a drink called the Perfect Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
which uses this in equal portions to whiskey, this, and then sweet vermouth, all an ounce
So
each.
both dry and sweet vermouth.
Stirred,
Wow.
served with typical Manhattan, served with a cherry, but it is the flavor profile completely changes because of the dry
I
vermouth.
can see where it would.
Oh yeah,
We might have to pull that one out.
no, we'll have that coming up.
All right, very good.
That's one of the things we'll get coming forward here.
Being that we're finishing up Gin Gems, what have you got for us for next week? What are we planning? Are we still doing exactly what you?
I think that we'll start on that trek because there's some great cocktails that will follow on that are riffs from what we originally had.
Okay.
And that Perfect Manhattan is one of them.
Nice.
And that's kind of where we started this whole craziness with the Manhattan. So I think we'll make a Perfect Manhattan for the first cocktail post.
After the blind.
Well, we're going to have 2 weeks of blinds here.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll,
Hey, I got no complaint there.
yeah, no. I mean, so next week, if you want to watch us sip whiskey and guess at what, I mean, we'll know what we'll know the
four
bottles, but we won't know what they.
Is this the one that you're sneaking one in?
No,
on me?
no,
Okay.
no.
That's
We'll
not this
we'll
one.
do that probably in October.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. So I mean, what I have coming up is so we're labeling it the budget bottled and bond bourbon blonde.
Bourbon blind, right?
Okay. So we've got 4 bottles of bourbon that are all under $25. They're all bottled in bond. So, and if you're not familiar with that that terminology, Google.
Right. Google and watch next week. We'll go through it a little bit then.
Yeah, we'll repeat the history of it.
I don't want to spend the whole time on on that.
So, but then what we're going to do is we have another tier of bottled and bond bourbons that are higher price points. Okay.
Right.
Which, and what our point, one of the things we have said in this whole time is value propositions. When you're out in the marketplace buying alcohol, you can go out and buy some really expensive bottles of whiskey and expensive bottles of liquor that are sometimes not as good as that $25 or $30 bottle
Exactly.
of alcohol. And it's just, there's a lot of times where you'll sit there and say, well, can you pick out the $100 bottle versus the $25 bottle? And a lot of people can't.
Right.
Because they're so, not that either one of them is really good or really bad, but because they're so close, unless you have a really specifically trained palate,
Right.
a sommelier's tongue, you're not going to be able to tell them apart. So, that's so that we're looking forward to that, and then next week we'll do the lower tier, and then we'll bring the winner of that up against some bottle and bond, some $40 to $60 bottles, that $40 to $60 MSRP, because some of the bottles you can't get for that MSRP price point, and we'll make a point of that one that I did buy at MSRP that we found here in the market for $170.
Incredibly large price.
Is insane.
Hello, Wayne. Wayne Kelly is watching us.
Hey, Wayne, welcome.
Wayne.
Welcome back. Yeah, no, I've got. Here's how I remember that now. Kelly Crown.
Kelly Crown. Okay.
So whether you know it or not, Wayne, you wear a crown every day in my brain. Rent free, by the way.
Well, yeah, Betty listens to him playing the bass every single morning.
Oh yeah,
Every single
on your
morning.
drive.
She has to hear 2 specific songs of mine every single day. And that's the version of Raised on Rock and Roll from Rough and Ready, and then the Rough and Ready live version where Wayne was playing bass of Pictures on the Wall. So which is your favorite, my sister's favorite, quite a few.
Pictures on the Wall is great.
Yep.
You know what's interesting?
Well, not yet,
on the second.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, that is my favorite.
Right.
Do you have that posted on YouTube?
I do, and I actually have it in our featured music playlist on YouTube.
Now here, tangent. You just took me for our first tangent of the night. Hey, did you put those drumios up?
I did not yet.
Okay.
But remind me to do that.
We've been so lacking on our social media.
Oh,
and we both of us apologize.
Right.
You
probably get a rash of stuff just all of a sudden from us like this, adding shit to the featured music.
We just, because we both of us spend time driving around, and we have a lot of downtime.
Yep.
So how do you spend downtime?
It has been stupid recently. Yeah. Good God.
I'm waiting for the heat to break down here, but it's still a month away.
Once the heat breaks, I'll be back in a mindset where I can do.
I get.
I'll be very.
But you know what? They're
anyway,
both of us have been in a funk. And I think now I got a little bit out of my funk last week. I was really complaining. Yeah. I watched our replay from last week, and I'm like, oh. Even my wife said, "Well, you're complaining an awful lot," which is out of character for me.
I honestly didn't notice. I was too focused on doing the editing parts of it and getting the damn thing posted.
Yeah, I know that was very frustrating for you.
At that point, I didn't want to see it anymore.
That kind of plays right into what we were talking about. Is how both of us have been not off our A game by a long way.
Yeah.
And fortunately, on Labor Day, my wife decided that we're going to the beach. Forget it. We're going to spend the day with our feet in the sand, our ass in the surf, and that made a huge difference for me. Just getting really grounded, taking my flip flops off and.
My son's going to be here this weekend, so that will help ground me a little bit.
Oh, that will be great.
In another regard, mentally. So
yeah.
Can't get out there and walk around much because it's going to be raining like.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I'm going to have to go ahead and pull the stool out over here. Sorry, y'all.
Stiff drink's getting to him already. He's got to sit down.
Stiff hips getting to me.
I get it.
One of them things.
But anyways,
yeah,
the craziness this week. We take
good grief, yes.
Take 10 minutes to talk about the craziness. I'll lead the craziness off.
So we try to be kind of general about it most times because we don't want this to be colored with a bunch of politics and religion and all that kind of stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about getting together and
no, this is about getting away from that and coming together and just spending good time with friends. Thanks for joining us. We consider all of you our friends.
Oh, yeah.
You come and join us for a cocktail. And you don't have to necessarily, it's not about having a cocktail. We just choose to do that.
Right. It's kind of how we started just getting together. For those of you who are new, Carol probably knows the story just from me telling her about it a little bit. But, we, very briefly, Cliff Notes version, we used to get together up at the local grocery store. They had a shop and sip. So we started with wine and went to beer. when they flipped over brands of grocery stores. And then we started doing it here and doing just whiskey appreciation on Wednesday nights. We get together for an hour, hour and a half, you know.
Yeah,
Just
and
hang
just
out.
shoot the bull.
Yeah,
Talk about the things that are of interest to us.
right?
Have a good laugh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's always part of it right there. But it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's talking
And-
about music. It's talking about our lives. It's talking about just
Or it's
whatever the hell's
if you
going
got
on, you know.
if one of us has something on our chest that we want to get off,
Yeah.
well, we can
We'll throw
go.
that out there.
You know, Michael's heard me rant. I've heard him rant, and okay, whatever, dude. Just get it out.
Yeah.
You know.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
But so anyway, yeah, this week's craziness. Go ahead, lead off.
My favorite craziness, and this is a sports reference, but of course this early, I think it was announced on Sunday. Travis Kelce, the tight end from the from the Chiefs,
Pardon me,
his
sorry.
PR people put out to the public the contract that they had with the Taylor Swift people. That whole relationship is a complete sham. It was nothing but a marketing scam to get a whole new swath of people that are, what do they call it? Swifties
To be
NFL fans,
Right.
and then to get NFL fans to be interested in Taylor Swift. And
Right.
it worked, obviously, because
And September 28th, apparently, it's going to be over. Right.
give me a break. Not that I really.
Well, here, what we always say, it's a movie. We're out here watching it. That
It's
just
so
proves
disappointing. It's just so disappointing.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yes, no, that does
shit
prove
scripted.
it's the shit scripted.
It's like pro wrestling, man.
Well, here,
Excuse me.
we
I'm sorry. I come from Georgia. I can't say it that way. It's like wrestling.
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 Yeah, no.
Woo! Sorry.
No, I get it. It is here, but some of the scripting points are to me becoming very obvious, and I said it before we started broadcast, and I'll say it now. The craziness. I mean, there's been other shit that's crazy, and if you haven't noticed it yet, I don't know.
Maybe you might be a little crazy yourself. Actually, no, it takes being crazy to see it. You might be too sane.
Yeah, no, I saw a great meme this week.
You like that?
Yes, I saw a great meme this week, and it's exactly what it says. It says, if you don't have a conspiracy friend, you should go find one. Because then it gave a checklist of everything the conspiracy people have been right about so far.
For
And
the
it was
last
like,
20 or 30 years or whatever.
well, it was just the last 4 years. It was the Russia hoax, and then it was just a
appropriate
bunch of
today
line
with
items.
The whole Department of Justice saying Russia's trying to get involved again. Just me.
How are they here? How are they going to blame the Orange Man when they put him in jail? Because they're going to put him in jail this month.
Yeah, that's
On the
kinda good.
18th, his sentencing, they're going to put him in jail. It's so obvious to me.
So-
I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
All right, let's round up world a little bit here on this side. Brazil,
Yeah, no social media in Brazil.
and well, of course, England. That's still going on with the
Oh,
free
and
speech side
here,
of that. And
I
France.
didn't
What the hell
realize
is going
this.
on out there?
I didn't realize this. Okay. I saw this statistic and it really stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
How many people in Russia in 2023 were arrested and put in jail for social media posts?
Don't know.
303.
Really?
303 people were arrested in Russia
That's a
for
large
the
country
social
for that
media
to be a
posts.
small figure like that.
How many people in Great Britain?
I'm guessing it's at least 10 times that. I'm just gonna guess.
A little better. 4,024 people were arrested and put in jail for social media posts.
Well, free speech isn't that one of the reasons that we're over here already?
Well, right. I saw.
Rhetorical question, of
I
course.
saw. And you have probably seen this because it's a little older, but I saw. It's the first time I saw it. You know who Shane Gillis is?
Yeah.
I saw he does a skit, and it was a 30-second TikTok skit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you want to know how in the world we defeated the British, the most formidable empire ever? He says, because we had a 6'2" crazy redheaded dude that was like, had donkey teeth that were held together by lead. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Well,
It had been in his jaw for 10 years. Of course, he came out of the woods with a big sword. And then, I'm sure if you Google Shane Gillis, George Washington, you'll see that. And I can't do Shane Gillis justice. He's just a very funny man. I mean, interesting dude.
so yeah, in the same region, we were talking about Venezuela a little bit earlier.
Oh, I forgot about that. See, we just talked about it. The Swiss cheese is still there.
So you've got him arresting. Okay, the president of Venezuela has arrested his opponent from the election, which is contested.
Right.
To be
He had his plane seized by the U.S. military in the Dominican Republic.
right. And then I read today that he has decreed that Christmas is coming early this year. That Christmas is now October 1st
In Venezuela.
in Venezuela, of course. But yeah,
The craziness is just...
It's
here, this is
also
why...
crazy out there. Dave Hall, if you're watching, we got to finish this thing so we can debut it here because it dovetails right in.
Dave, I've been up his tail. I'm being nice.
Yes.
I've been up his tail to get up with you because you have got to finish that song. It's
Right.
so appropriate.
I'm going to put something else out there right now on this too. Lee, understandably, is a little slow getting up to speed on the software and everything that I took him out there.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he's working with it and doing very well with it, of course. But
Understandable, though.
as
There's a
far as
lot to learn there.
being ready to finish it and everything, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there right now. Brian Moore, if you happen to run across this, and I'll reach out to you personally too, wouldn't mind a little help finishing that. We have a song that
Because it's so appropriate. It should be released.
Yeah.
It should be released now, and it'll be... I personally think that the real craziness...
should have been released 4 years ago, but it's no more appropriate now than it was then.
I agree. The real craziness is still in front of us.
Yeah.
I think. I hope. I really, honestly, I hope that I'm absolutely wrong. I hope that the average person is still just...
Well, here's an indicator. If what you say is, going to happen on September 18th, happens, yeah, we're there. it's officially crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're no different than Venezuela.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Banana Republic.
And we got the Venezuelan crime gangs out in Colorado that are now...
Right. And here, my daughter lives
There was a
in
big
Colorado.
shootout, of course, last night in Aurora, Colorado. Supposedly. That's what they said on the news. But now, see, I sit there and I watched that and I was like, really?
Right.
I don't know if I should believe that or not. Because does the news have any credibility in this country anymore? Because it was on a television news thing. I got to ask. My dad says, "How do you know it was on television? Because you don't even have a damn television." And my dad's 90. Okay, so my dad's 90 and he doesn't understand what the internet even is.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Right.
So my dad still, if it wasn't for me and my sister, he wouldn't have a microwave and he'd still be on a rotary phone.
Needless to say, he doesn't text with your kids.
He doesn't have a cell phone.
No cell phone at all. Still got the...
He's driving a
handset.
1986 Ford.
Oh my God. Love it.
It's got but here, his Ford has got
our international viewer.
6,000 miles on it.
Fabio from Australia.
From Australia.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Fabio, here's to you, my friend.
Good day, mate. It's, 8 a.m. there? Is that correct?
Definitely morning. Because aren't they 14 or 16 hours ahead of us?
I can't remember if he in particular is 13 or 14. It might be 14. I know my brother in Korea is 13.
Yeah, well, it was funny because I have a friend, my friend that is down in Sarasota.
Mhm.
He married a Kiwi. So I always used to sit there and say, okay, Fred.
Now, some parts of New Zealand are like 18 hours.
Yeah, he was 14 hours
Okay.
where he was. He was on
He was on the
the
western
north,
side.
the northeast. I don't know. I can't.
It's hard for me to convert it like that too.
He was on pretty close to the ocean because he used to go kayak fishing.
But speaking of my brother, I got to talk to him for hours the other day. He stayed.
Oh,
he
yeah.
literally
You told me
stayed up
that.
all night to sit and talk to me while we
Which
were,
is
while I was
fantastic for you. I'm
sitting
so
out by
happy.
myself
When you
on
told me
Saturday.
that, I just had a warm, good
Oh, dude,
feeling
it was
in my
so
heart.
much fun. And John, if you're watching, I can't tell you what that did for me. That was something that helped decompress me this week too.
Yeah. No,
So I
we
I
both
sat
needed
here,
it. We both needed it.
I sat here and basically, even though he wasn't drinking with me, I had a beer and made my nacho dip and got the college football thing going with my brother all day.
Cool.
So that was really cool. And that's one of the great parts about the internet right there.
Absolutely. No, it has shrunk the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we're getting into this drink, there's more
Yes.
lemon oil playing in here, a lot more.
Yeah, and it's still very strong. It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
definitely-
No, you don't. Here, think about this. Back in Mad Men,
Yep.
all right? Which, by the way, we'll see the Draper glasses coming up this fall because I have a pair of Draper glasses. In the real world, people used to go to have 3 of these at lunch.
Oh well, yeah. No.
I'm only halfway through and I'm
a
feeling
little
it.
bit too, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, no,
feeling it.
martinis are stiff drinks because here I think the lowest alcohol is
The vermouth.
I think it is because I know that this is 47%. No.
Shakes
This is
of that, but still
this is not 47% ABV. This is 47 proof.
47 proof. Gotcha.
So I want to say, of course, I don't have my glasses on.
Bottom parts readers.
No, it's all right. I want to say this is 42 proof, if my memory serves me right. So,
And then the gin is what?
84, I think. 84, 82, 80. I didn't see the proof point.
17% alcohol.
Oh, so 34%.
It's tasty, but it's not one of those that I would do on a regular
No.
type thing. It would have to be a flavored one,
No.
something like that espresso or something with a.
No,
theme to it like that.
I'll tell you what. We will make that Earl Grey martini.
Okay.
Now,
That here, because one of the things that I noticed about I guess it's the dry vermouth in there, is there's almost a tea quality to it.
kinda. Here, you almost need to taste this by itself
Okay.
to really get.
Twist my arm. Ow, that hurts.
To really kind of get what this tastes like.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's. I'm already just from
Nosing it. Yeah.
from nosing it. I'm getting some of that same.
And for those of you that
Part
don't
of
know,
that.
Dolan is it's my choice of vermouth. It's French.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not pleasant by itself,
It's
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very citrusy in itself.
Yep. It's made with grapes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, I'm getting almost a white wine out of it now. On the aftertaste on that. But a very dry, not sweet at all.
It's just got a strange. I won't call it sweet, but there is like a
Yeah.
A,
I get you.
it's hard to, you can't call it sweet. It's dry.
It's hard to verbalize. It really
It's
is.
dry on your tongue. It's dry on your tongue, but it's definitely made with grapes. You can taste that. But it's got a lot of herbal quality to it. I really like this vermouth. When we make the perfect Manhattan, which will be the first cocktail, we started this whole thing live streaming, doing Manhattans.
Right.
So
Tribute
we're
to my
gonna,
granddad.
yeah, we're gonna make what's called the perfect Manhattan. The perfect Manhattan is made with dry vermouth, sweet vermouth, and, well, whiskey of choice, I always say.
Right.
And we'll use one of the bottles in bond. Maybe we'll use the winner of the
Okay.
whole thing. Well, no, I'm excluding my Colonel Taylor from that.
Yeah,
because
and
that's a
again,
sipping whiskey. I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
I will not make that into
I can't
cocktail.
wait until we do a sipping night on that. Just not even a blind. But
I almost need to go. I'm getting pretty close to needing another bottle of that.
all right.
Hopefully, I'll go back to the same place I got it, and I get it for another reasonable price. I paid $80 for that, which the retail on that is $69 now. Okay. So it's either $69 or $59. At the time I bought it, it was $49. I don't know. If you go to Buffalo Trace and you do the tour, and that's the bottle of the day, because they always have 3 or 4 bottles of the day, and they're all very good bottles. That's one of them. The Weller Foolproof, I think, or Antique 107. I forget one of the Wellers, and then I don't know what the other one is that they feature.
If you guys help us get some subscribers, we might be able to do some road trips and stuff like that. If we can get this being like our part-time job.
To go along with my other part-time job.
Right.
That's what, you know.
Kidding, of course. I don't mean it that way for you guys, of course. But
Yeah, no.
you know, it would just be so much fun to do something like that. Just hit an RV and take off.
Or just go. I mean, in reality, Louisville is 15 hours from here driving. Yep. So, I mean, that's a real road trip.
Right.
You know, you ain't doing that in a day.
Well, here, you and me, the ladies, you know, the loquacious ladies along with us. Like I said, get a RV
and just go. No, that would be a fun road trip.
It would.
Because I've been to Louisville. I've been on Whiskey Row. I didn't spend a vacation there. A lot of people go there literally for a vacation and spend it in Kentucky.
Right.
And do all that stuff.
All the Kentucky stuff. Right.
You know, which you have to be a real whiskey enthusiast. Not that I'm not a whiskey enthusiast, but here, now, this is one of the things I've been waiting to ask you.
Okay.
Okay? Now that we're at the end.
Yeah.
Okay? You've alluded to this answer already. But now I want to ask you, okay, now that I've shown you that gin is a really great spirit.
Right.
Okay? There's a lot of people that are trying to revive gin, and I would put myself on that train.
Well, here in my travels, I've talked to people who appreciate gin already, and when they found out we were doing gin stuff, I was like, "Oh, I need to check that out then because I love gin." You know, that kind of stuff. I've never been a big gin fan. Then again, I didn't have a great experience with it to start out with.
There's tons. Here, I would say that you're in the largest percentile.
Right.
Because lots of people, we're all stupid idiots when we're 18 and 19 and 16 and 15 and,
probably under drinking age at the time.
Whenever you happen upon your parents or your grandparents' liquor cabinet, inevitably you drink gin and go, ugh.
Yeah, right. So, I'm definitely okay here. I don't think I would order anything gin in a bar if we were to go out somewhere.
So you wouldn't go to the bar and say, geez, I feel like having an East Side. If it was on the menu.
Out of all those, that would be the only one that I would probably come back and get to. Isn't that the one that I keyed off on?
Yeah, well, you can go anywhere and order a gin and tonic. You can go order and order a gin and tonic.
And Tom Collins was good.
Tom Collins, you can probably get. Most bartenders will know how to make a Tom Collins, and they'll have the materials.
Mermaid Magic, that's a special occasion one.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind.
that-
You know, it's just a little girly. You know,
it's a
flowery.
girl. That's a girl
Very
drink, and I was a
floral.
little heavy on the because I made it again. Colton asked me to make that for him because he wanted to try it.
Right.
I only gave him a half an ounce of the elderflower syrup,
Okay.
and it completely changes the profile
All right.
by cutting it. I think I cut that, which cuts it in half. I think that the right proportion is 3/4 of an ounce on that. I just would, you know,
I'd give it another shot. I mean, here, there's nothing that we had in the series that I wouldn't have again.
okay, yeah,
I just don't think if I was spending money and the way drinks cost out at bars,
well, that's
I don't
it.
think I would go out and order one.
If you go out to a bar that particular drink, because it's blue gin, you're going to spend $15 to $18 on that drink.
Right.
So is it worth that? No, there's not a value proposition there.
Is it worth doing a home bar and keeping the makings for the stuff that we did? Sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Again, because we're shooting for those value propositions, over the course of time, you can build a pretty good bar with doing the drinks that we've been doing, like you mentioned.
Yeah, no, and here you're going to see some of the liquors that we've mentioned and or featured coming back around now
Yep.
in different cocktails,
Yep.
which is fun. I mean,
Exactly. It gives us a chance to show those off and show you how you can build.
well, and you have some stuff here that we haven't used yet, like you have a raspberry liqueur
Yeah.
that will, I mean, gin goes great with that.
Okay.
Okay.
I have some blue carousel down here, too.
Another thing that we'll be using.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, when we get to the tiki stuff, and I think we'll get to the tiki stuff next early summer.
Right.
You know that tiki drinks are more of a summertime drink. You know, but then you get into different rums, and you got barreled rums and clear rums and golden rums, and
Right.
all that stuff is pretty fun and interesting.
I'm looking forward to branching out on that. I'm glad we, because here, what we did originally, and this is just tangent thinking, not a tangent, but
Yeah.
brain freeze. Let's get back to this. When we started doing this, it was Whiskey Wednesday. And then we discovered that Buffalo Trace had a trademark on that phrase.
Correct.
Right. So we decided to just brand ourselves with the local.
Well, no, and that's your baby. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, "That's a home friggin' run."
So yeah, to keep with the alliteration, being a lyricist or a former lyricist, I guess, because I really haven't.
Dude, you came up with your stick
stick
to the plate and you went pow right out of the park.
So yeah, Loquacious Libations is what I came up with on that, and we're trying to stick with that with the titles and stuff too. If you haven't noticed, Gin Gems.
Yeah.
And we're still calling our original thing Whiskey Wednesday for the time being, but who knows, we might switch that up a little bit eventually.
Yeah, no, I think we'll just make it Loquacious Libations Whiskey Wednesday.
Yeah.
We'll just tie the two together. It doesn't matter.
So, I mean, there's all kind of possibilities for this other stuff that we're doing too. Here I thought about if we're doing a summer series and don't want to focus on one particular liquor, we could actually do a miscellaneous something rather than MM. We'll just
Miscellaneous musings.
miscellaneous musings. There we go. Reference right there. Mark the tape.
You know what's nice about this particular drink
What's that?
is because it's a sipper. You could take an hour to drink this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
So far, we're 45 minutes in. I
Well,
think,
and the other thing that's funny, and this is I haven't had a martini in I can't tell you how long.
Jimmy Edson, thank you for joining, brother. Lead singer from Rough and Ready.
I was going to say from Rough and Ready.
Yeah. Good to have you out there, man.
This I haven't had one of these, but you know what? It gets better as it goes lower.
And you know what? That's something you've mentioned and that I've noticed through a lot of these cocktails that we've had too.
Well, it started kind of with the old fashioned where it gets sweeter as you go lower.
Right.
Now I like an old fashioned, and we're going to do a couple old fashioned riffs coming up.
No complaint from me.
Okay, but last week's drink the profile changes as it warms up. This profile changes as it warms up, and what I think makes this drink is the lemon oil gets more and more concentrated.
As you go, because of it sitting in there, yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. And it definitely hits you. And again, like I mentioned last week, that natural citrus oil on the lips.
Sitting on
when
your
you
lips.
sip. Yeah.
Yeah. Now here, again, this is a very... Now,
It keeps buffering on the farm down here. He says, that's okay, Jimmy. You can watch it on the replay. I'll have the edit up hopefully by Saturday this week. That's all I'm going to commit to. Last week it was Sunday. But yeah, Thursday and Friday I've pretty much ruled out at this point because I've got to go get Aiden on Friday afternoon.
oh yeah, you're busy. You got other things to do.
Yeah, and I got a 10-hour day tomorrow.
It's
so.
not like we're making a living off of this.
Right,
So,
right.
On the
Yeah,
importance list...
if we get enough subscribers and we end up doing tours of distilleries and shit like that.
Or like Bruzel.
Right, yeah.
Buying barrels. Barrel picks.
That would be sweet. But here we are doing this, So and this is fine with me. I love it.
Oh!
This is still the highlight of my week.
Whether or not we're going to live stream, we're still going to get together.
Absolutely.
See that, and that's the whole point. Again,
that's the part that's the highlight of my week too. Is that midweek break?
It's like now you're on the downhill slide.
Right. It's hump day.
You're over hump day. You're at the end of hump day.
Right.
You're on the downhill slide. We just choose to have a cocktail and get together and say, ooh. Now, see, what's funny about that is the downhill slide leads me into, because I work.
He actually, this is the beginning of his work week.
Yes, kind of. So,
coming up on the end of mine, I got Thursday and Friday, and then.
Speaking of craziness, I got the dreaded jury summons this weekend.
Oh boy!
Now here, I've been summoned 3 times for jury duty. Twice here in Florida and once in Virginia.
How quickly do you get kicked out?
I've been kicked out every time that I've been on there. Okay.
There are certain type of jurors they don't want, and people who have their eyes open are normal.
Well, one time I had to be pretty. I got asked questions during voir dire.
Tammy, hello, our redheaded friend Tammy Holcomb Prize is here.
Now I had no idea. When I got asked this question during voir dire what the case even was yet.
Right.
None of us did. But I got asked the questions because I was the juror that was in the front of the box, all the way to the attorney's left. So they went left to right, front to back. So I was the first person.
Juror number 1 in this scenario.
Yeah, I was the first person that they asked questions. So, do you like dogs? And it was either I love dogs or I hate dogs.
Right.
One of the answers is going to be wrong. Now, I happen to really love dogs. But for some reason, my intuition said, I hate dogs. I hate dogs with a passion. And the attorney was like, why is that? When I was a small child, there was a dog next door that used to chase me on my bike and try to bite me all the time. I hated that dog. I hate dogs. He immediately moved on after that question, and boom, I was off that jury. And it happened to be a dog bite case. It was a civil case. It was a dog bite case. And I was just
That's
like,
perfect.
Oh,
man.
Out the door. And then fortunately, now that was in Fairfax County, Virginia, which is a very large county, lots of people. It's suburban Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, all the other trials that they had scheduled that started, they had jurors completed. So then I got kicked out, and by noon on Monday, I was out the door and free to go. And then the second time was here in Gainesville, and I just didn't make it. I just got kicked off. I don't even know why. I didn't even get asked a question. I had nothing.
They just didn't like the look of you.
Yeah, I guess it was my bald head or something. I don't know.
This is not the juror we want.
No,
It was your mind tricks. It was your Jedi mind tricks, man.
I'm not the juror that you're looking for.
Obi-Wan over here. Yoda.
Yeah. So, but I have that on the 23rd of this month. And I just started laughing because I'm like, Okay, well, if my theory is correct, the 18th is the right. We should be in. The volume should be. The volume should be clicking close to.
Spinal Tap.
No, I don't think we're being Spinal Tap volume level until October,
Okay.
because
Right.
then we're a month out.
Right.
You know. Oh,
October surprise. Yeah.
Oh.
Woo!
oh! I almost forgot.
That's my birthday that month. Yay.
I almost forgot.
What you got?
Remember last week I said how much junk mail and how much
Yes.
yard signs have you seen?
Right.
I saw my first yard sign on the way to the beach.
Okay.
I just
one.
one, but still, it's a yard
Again,
sign.
I've seen bumper stickers. Haven't seen much else. Of course, I don't watch network television at all, so I don't know.
I can't
what
figure
kind
out
of
why.
ads are going in the market or anything like that. You know.
Yeah, I can't figure
Right.
out why anybody watches network
Right.
television.
Right. I mean, here I listen to talk radio all day. You know, it helps me pass the time.
Sure,
I don't agree with everything.
I
know.
listen to podcasts
Yeah.
a lot.
But because of those 30-minute
Well,
breakers and the time checks and traffic checks, you know, they help me out a little bit since I stay here locally. But, and where was I going with that?
Political ads.
Political, oh yeah. Of course, the things that I listen to are political, so there's no political ads there.
Sure, that makes sense.
But, like watching live TV, I haven't seen anything like that in a very long time on a normal basis. I did watch the Gator game the other day. No political ads. None whatsoever.
I said this 6 weeks ago now. I think.
Right.
I think it is 6 weeks ago. I question whether or not there's going to be an election
Here.
on what's supposed to be election day.
Either that or everybody thinks that Florida is locked up and they aren't concentrating anything on us.
Yeah, because this state has turned definitively red.
Yeah. So anybody's out of state, Carol, let us know. Are you seeing any political ads up there?
Well, you know, I asked my buddy that's out in Tucson,
Uh-huh.
and he said they've shown up now.
All right.
So
There you go.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know, we dove back into the craziness there.
Yeah, we did.
But it's
And see, that's part of the craziness because we pledged that we would
we-
not let it get into this kind of stuff. You know.
it's it's
But
kind of
we both do it. You know.
it's kind of hard though as we get closer to the date. And here we didn't start with what we said. What is today's date? Today is September the 4th. 4th? God dang, it's the 4th already.
Today is the 11th. Yeah.
Yeah. Now here, that's an interesting. We come to September 11th. Is something else going to happen?
Hopefully not.
I don't know.
Hopefully not. But I mean, all you got to do to see the craziness is look in the news. We're not going to tell you what it is, or we try to avoid telling you what it is for the most part.
Because we don't know.
Well,
I don't know what's going to happen.
That plus we try to come here to get away with it. Yeah,
Away from it.
Away from
Hey, I told you not to confess
Hello.
on when we're out here. Damn it, man.
it. Another fine mess Hatter's gotten into over here, right?
No, I don't know what's going to happen, but because the world has just gone and gotten itself into a big giant mess. I mean,
Very good, Jimmy. He's going to vote. He said, and yep.
oh, absolutely. I don't care who you vote for. You should vote.
Yeah,
though.
you gotta get out there and vote.
That's
if
kind
you
of
can.
your civil responsibility, your civil duty in this country is. And whether one side
I'm
is
really
right
glad
and
to hear that, Jimmy.
the elections are rigged, and it doesn't matter. You just should go do it.
Well, and there's something to be said.
But if you go vote, I got to tell you, you get jury summons. That's how they get you.
that's exactly how they get you. I'm not going to mention.
I got my
anything.
underwear in a bun.
I don't want to call attention to myself, so I'm not mentioning anything on that front.
You don't want the universe
Want
to
that
send
monkey
you
on
one
the
of
back,
those. You're
right.
damn right.
Mm-mm.
Of course, my wife, she gave the silver lining.
Okay.
She goes, well, you don't work on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so maybe you'll get a short trial, and then you get paid for those 3 days. I was like, shut your mouth.
Don't jinx it.
Yes, I got to get kicked out.
I thought about earlier, and this was before the cast, and I didn't think about it, but, when I normally take my hat off in the middle of the show.
Yes.
At some point, I should have kind of paused and then later come back and done the video edit.
So it disappeared?
The sound. Right. The hat disappears off my head. We'll see if I can make that happen. I don't know.
There'll be a chop in the...
Right.
A little blink. A blink.
I tried to come back into the same position when I did that. But anyway.
We had a technical glitch.
Pardon me. We always have technical glitches. Yes. Strong drink.
Oh, you're
Very
feeling
good.
it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a couple...
Very good.
There's a couple more, like... the other things that... There's so many martini riffs. Like Manhattan riffs. We've already had a couple Manhattan riffs. Appletinis. A Cosmo is a martini riff.
Well, I mentioned earlier the espresso and
The espresso
there's other things I've
martini,
seen,
the dirty martini.
dessert martinis of all different kinds.
Well, here, one of the oldest martini riffs is called the lemon drop, which is
Right.
really a martini.
Yeah, I used to have those all the time when we were going out to this little dive bar over here, Gamblers, if you remember.
Yes. You always used to, you would always be like, hey, we're going to Gamblers if you want to join us.
Went there for a little while, but that was pretty cool. But the owner's mother made a hell of a lemon drop shooter.
Okay.
So
Yeah, here, this is only a 3-ounce drink.
Right. And speaking of shooters, there's a series for us. We'll have to come up with like a short series of shooters.
Month-long series of shooters?
Like four episodes or something like that. Because I've got to get that.
Sounds like
Beam Me Up
February.
Scotty. There you go. I've got to get that Beam Me Up Scotty in here at some point. And I'm going to need practice on the layering because he's going to actually make me make that one.
Oh, absolutely. And layering's a bitch, let me tell you. You got to have a delicate hand to layer right.
Well, funny enough, I got the ingredients for it one time and made a couple here at home and tried to layer it like that and didn't do too bad for my first tries. So,
yeah, it just takes a little practice. It's just like layering. If you layer, there's a couple drinks that we could actually make one where you layer Angostura, the regular Angostura bitters, and just layer it on top.
Wow, okay.
And it sits there and it floats for a little bit, and then you'll see it start running down the sides of the glass. Cool. On the inside.
Jimmy, do you remember me drinking those when we were gigging? Just curious. Beam Me Up Scotty. I don't know if he ever had one, because they were kind of an odd drink.
That is an odd drink. Well, it's a great name, though.
Yeah, well, especially for a geek like me.
A Star Trek fan, yeah.
Hell, I got to see Star Trek 2 at the Fox Theater in Atlanta with my granddaddy.
I think you said that last week or the week before.
And 3 the next night. So it was like back to back. It was like right when 3 came out.
Oh, was it like a sci-fi weekend or something?
Sci-fi festival. They did some Star Wars, some Star Trek.
Oh, very cool.
We went 3 nights. I think we saw Empire Strikes Back and then came back for the 2 Star Trek ones because that was my granddaddy's thing. Gramps was all about Star Trek.
No argument for me. I
sat and tried to watch Discovery some the other day, though. I'm going to get through it because it's Star Trek.
Not cutting it, though? Or just not as good?
Not as good.
Okay.
A little too much. I think even Roddenberry would say, okay, you guys go a little too far sometimes.
Okay, because, the movies that they made I thought they were great.
Yeah, but here, now we're in the 30th century, or 30 whatever.
Oh, so we're way ahead.
Yeah. The ship that was before the Enterprise has jumped 1,000 years past us.
Oh, wow.
1,000 years past the Enterprise.
Yeah, I understand what you meant by that.
So, yeah. But I mean, some of the storylines are a little funny. Everything going along here. Stacey Abrams was president of the Federation in the season finale of season 4.
Oh, interesting.
So, and here, Strange New Worlds, Ethan Peck is Spock, Gregory
Peck's grandson.
And that one's good. I mean, it really is pretty good overall. The acting, the overall performance, the homage to the original series, that kind of thing is pretty good. But they take it a little over the top too. Hell, they had a musical. I'm approaching the musical on my trek through season 2 on that one. They have a musical.
That's all. That's what Roddenberry would say. That you're not staying within the bounds of the game.
The last one that I watched was a crossover with another Star Trek, Lower Decks. Have you seen anything about Lower Decks?
No.
Lower Decks is animated. Okay, so what they did was they started the episode animated, and the voice actor that plays, I can't remember his name honestly,
Comes to life.
Jumps into the real world.
Oh, okay.
Through a Guardian-like portal. All right.
All right.
Geeks, are y'all following me out there?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I can't stand Abrams, he says. Now,
Jimmy said that.
Yeah, Jimmy said that.
Yeah.
I did like the Star Trek reboot, the original one. The second 2 I didn't get into that much, but I liked the Chris Pine and Zachary.
Oh yeah, no. I thought they you know why? Because they had very good character actors that were true to their characters.
Right. And here, I saw a thing with William Shatner critiquing people doing
William Shatner.
Doing Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
The other day. And he actually said, Chris can do no wrong. Chris did perfect.
Yeah, no. Well, my favorite reenactor of Captain Kirk actually was John Belushi on SNL.
Oh, Belushi on SNL was one of the ones that he went over.
Oh, God. It was
great.
Stellar. How could you not laugh your ass off? I mean,
and here
he was one of those guys, though. He had a golden touch. Whatever he touched, it was making you laugh.
Yeah. But and even Shatner said he's more authentic than most of the rest of them. Yeah, because the others are too exaggerated. You know, Spock.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of shit. Like, what was his last name? Kevin Pollak?
Yeah. No, I think that's how you
Jim
say
Carrey.
it. And Jim Carrey.
Both of those, way over the top. But funny as hell. Some of my favorites as far as impressions go.
Speaking of Kevin Pollak.
We're way off on the talent.
Yeah, I know, but speaking of Kevin Pollak.
That's it.
A lot of people don't know that in the movie A Few Good Men. Is it A Few Good Men?
Yeah.
You Can't Handle the Truth. That's that movie, right?
Yeah.
There are lines in that movie that that Nicholson says that are off camera, but his character speaks the lines.
Right.
Okay, but you don't see him speaking the lines; you just hear him speaking the lines.
And it was him coming back. It's
Kevin Pollak.
That doesn't surprise me a bit.
And the reason for that is because now I heard this story from Kevin Pollak in an interview.
Right.
Because they were paying Jack $100,000 a day to shoot that movie. Okay, and there's parts of the stuff that Rob Reiner wanted to didn't like the way it's shot, so he decided to change the shot up. But rather than pay Jack another $100,000 to get like 5 lines out, they just paid Pollak
10,000 or whatever.
Whatever, yeah, I don't know. He did because he didn't say
flat.
how much.
Right, 2,000 flat for how many days he came in.
And they
just a guess.
They dubbed that into the movie. They dubbed that in the track, and it worked out great. You don't know it because he's so good.
Right.
You know, I mean, while we're already there.
Yeah.
Where does the hour go?
Right. I don't know. But now, one thing I discovered, one of my production hiccups, I have more problems when we go over an hour. Like, seriously over an hour.
Yeah, well, last week we went an hour 20.
Yeah. And I think that's been our longest one yet.
Yeah, but we were having a gas last week.
We were. And we had a blast this week, too, man. This was not bad.
I'm glad that it's not my favorite cocktail by any stretch.
Right. Again, probably wouldn't pay $10 to $12 out.
Oh, that's a $20 cocktail.
Yeah, or $20 cocktail.
Because it's a martini. Because it's the king of cocktails.
The king, right.
So you overpay. You always overpay, especially if you're getting good gin or good vodka.
Right.
And especially, vodka. That's what most martinis are, because Bond drank vodka martinis.
Right.
And vodka is like the cheapest. Even good vodka is the cheapest liquor.
Right.
So that's the most profitable for the bar.
Absolutely, because they can really upsell and upcharge. But,
Yes.
I mean, like a lemon drop, and people love the taste of it. They're gonna give me another one of those.
Oh, well, speaking of drinks, you know who's drinking East Sides with me now? I made one for Grace.
Did you?
Because she's a big gin and tonic fan, and I've
Okay.
said that before. I
Yeah.
said I want to make this for you. I think you're going to like it. Well,
Nice.
she's like, I made one for her, and she came back. She goes, "This is really very tasty," and it
I
is a
agree.
very tasty.
And that
cocktail.
was my favorite out of the four. Out of the six that we did.
That we did. Oh, good. Well,
Gin Gems was a success.
I'm glad. That makes me feel good that you say that.
That was a success. I had a good time with Gin Gems. But we're gonna be back with Whiskey Wednesday.
Yeah, we're doing
Next
a
week?
budget bottled and bond bourbon blind, and the 4 bottles that we're going to have is Early Times bottled and bond, Old Granddad bottled and bond, Benchmark bottled and bond, and Evan Williams bottled and bond. Because we couldn't get,
Oh, that's right.
Very Old Barton. I can't get it in this market. It's just not available. So we're going to substitute in. Lots of people
Still.
love the Evan Williams bottled and bond. So
a flight each next week. This is going to be fun anyway, because we're going to be really tipsy by the end of this thing.
oh yeah, we were last time. And then the following week we'll do another one with up tier, and then we'll do some more cocktails going into the fall.
We'll see you guys next week on Whiskey Wednesday with Loquacious Libations, Had It, and the Sage.
See you next week.
See you guys next week.
Peace.